Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 9. We'll chant from verse 29-34.
अपि चेत् सुदुराचारः भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग्व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रम् भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिम् निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्याः भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तः मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः.
Last week we concluded with verse number 28. Thus you shall be freed from the bonds of actions bearing good and evil results, seeking union by sannyasa yoga, yoga of renunciation. Liberated you shall come to me. So just to recap the main points, was the message here that whole life we are caught up in the web of desires. Doesn't matter whether you act at home, work, wherever, in a community, whatever actions you are doing, they produce more results. And whole life you are pinned down to the world because of these desires created by your own actions, egocentric actions. So, how do you come out of it? So, that's the message. You shall be liberated. And the process is sannyasa yoga, yoga of renunciation. It's just a word, it's very simple. That whatever you are doing in life, you have to have higher knowledge, the knowledge of Vedanta, knowledge of scripture, higher values of life and living. And only when you get established in the higher values, your egocentric desires, your lower desires, slowly but surely they'll be exhausted, they will be eliminated. But if you are not established in the higher values, then whole life, entire life will be just playing with these desires, and there is no way you can come out of these desires. That is what he says. Thus, you should be freed from the bonds of desires, which produces evil results. Evil results meaning mental agitations. You are pinned down to the terrestrial world. You cannot go towards divinity. Therefore, he calls it evil. So, just make sure you get established in this knowledge. And it happens in stages. And the highest knowledge, highest value, whenever you are ready, is to identify with the self, the supreme reality. But for that to happen, you need to offload the bulk of your desires. Otherwise, you cannot contemplate on supreme reality. And when your efforts they converge to that stage where you can contemplate on supreme reality, then the world goes out of focus. So then you are completely liberated. You shall come to me. So this is the main point in verse number 28. And we also discussed about how ignorant people function in life. They don't want to move to the higher dimensions of their personality. Most people, 90%, 95% people in the world, they are like that. They're quite happy, they're quite content playing with their desires, egocentric desires. And it keeps on producing mental agitations. It's a question of more or less. But then you get used to it. You get acclimatized to it. It's like, let's say you're a fit person, and due to whatever reason you neglect your health, especially once you cross 40, 45, 50, you neglect for 6 months, 1 year. I mean, it immediately catches up with you. When you're in 20s, doesn't matter. So you get some ache here, some pain there. But after a while, you get used to it. Though it's not your normal condition, you say, okay, fine, I can manage. But you can be completely healthy. So exactly same thing is happening to ignorant people, all of us. It's a question of more or less. So people, they get acclimatized to sorrow, worry, anxiety, mental agitations. So all these are abnormal conditions. So do not fall into this kind of complacency. It's extremely important. So these were the main points in verse number 28. So are we okay, class? Anything not clear from what we covered last week? Verse number 29, please.
समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्
Can I admit Amanda? I think she is waiting. The same am I in all beings. I'm reading the verse translation 29. There is none hateful or dear to me, but those who worship me with devotion, they are in me, and I am also in them. Now, the last topic, topic number 4, starts from verse number 29. Dedicated efforts lead seekers, even the unrighteous, to the ultimate state of spiritual enlightenment. Now, If you refer to verse number 12 of chapter 7, you can just note down. After the class, you can check. He says, I am not in them, but they are in me. I meaning supreme reality, understood. In verse number 4 of the same chapter, chapter 9, he says, I do not dwell in them. Chapter 7, verse 12, I am not in them, but they are in me. Chapter 9, verse number 4, I do not dwell in them. And now he's saying they are in me and I am also in them. You just write down these three verses, one below the other. See, there is apparent contradiction, isn't it? Make up your mind. I mean, what's happening? So he is nothing but is an intellectual stretcher. He wants us to think. So the message is for two different types of people. When he says, I'm not in them, he's addressing different people. And he says, yes, I am in them, they are in me. He's talking to different set of people. So when he says, I am not in them, he's talking about desire-ridden people, people who are inundated with desires. So we often show that PowerPoint of pyramid of desires. Like all of you know, but you can just imagine there's a pyramid. So good many people, they are at the bottom of that pyramid. So they are inundated with desires. Quantity is too much, and also the quality is not very great. All egocentric desires. So for such people, divinity remains obscured. Though it is their original nature, you can never lose your divinity. You can never lose God, to use layman's language. But for all practical purposes, they don't see that divinity in them, or even externally, the splash of divinity. Where is God? They keep on asking that question. So for such people, Krishna says, I am not in them. Divinity is not in there. Actually, it is there. You cannot live there. You can't lose your divinity. But what happens is, due to too many desires, your mind is in a constant state of agitations. So therefore, you are not able to recognize that divinity in you. And we often give example of a pond. You know, when you disturb the pond, it may be quite clean, like crystal clear water. But if you disturb the pond, let's say like 3-4 feet pond, the surface is agitated. The dust which is at the bottom is kicked up, isn't it? So water becomes muddy, the surface is agitated. So therefore, you cannot see the bottom. Simple example. So similarly, due to your mental agitations, due to the sheer quantity of desires, quality also is quite poor. You are not able to see the divinity in you. You're not able to recognize the divinity in you. And once you do not recognize that divinity in you, then you keep on producing more and more desires. And you are conditioned by these desires. When we say conditioned by these desires, meaning constantly you are operating at the level of desires. Whole life you are chasing desires. It doesn't matter where you operate. At home, you create bunch of desires. In a relationship, in a workplace, you end up creating desires. And you have desires for acquisition, desires for enjoyment, and so on, so on and so forth. So whole life goes into this. surface is disturbed, agitated. Go back to that example of pond. So therefore, at this moment, you have lost your identity. Whoever, ignorant people we are talking about. Just as a dreamer has lost his identity that he is a waker, isn't it? And he may have a bad dream that he owes a lot of money to financial institutions. Maybe he has received a notice from a bank for a foreclosure. He has defaulted on his mortgage. There's a credit card bill due. You know, so everybody is harassing him. They are knocking on his doors. But as a waker, he is well-to-do. So what date? The house is fully paid for. Like zero money he owes to anybody. But in a dream, he suffers. You get my point? So there is no need to suffer. That suffering is absolutely unnecessary. But since he has lost the identity that he is a waker who is quite well to do, as a dreamer, he suffers. He goes through mental agitations, worry, and anxiety, and whatnot. So, exactly same thing is happening to all of us. That we have lost our identity. What is our identity? Our true identity as a human being. There is only one. You can't say my identity is this, your identity is that. What is our original identity?
You are the self.
God itself is a seat of peace, contentment, fulfillment, state of no agitations, no worry, no anxiety, right? The word we use is paripurna. But none of us can claim that. It's a question of more or less. That is because we have lost our identity that we are that supreme reality. And we are busy playing with desires, which has brought about that conditioning of three states of consciousness: waking, dream, deep sleep, waking, dream, deep sleep. And unnecessarily, we are paying the price, going through ups and downs of life, joy and sorrow. For what? So, therefore, Krishna says, I am not in such people due to their own desires. You get the point. But here in this verse, he is talking about people who have purified their personality, meaning they have worked on their desires, they have removed the bulk of their desires, and they can focus on the supreme reality. They can see divinity, they recognize divinity in them, they see that splash of divinity everywhere. So he's talking to such people in this verse. And as you start offloading your desires, to that extent, you start recognizing the divinity in you. It is not in black and white. And you can experience this. You don't have to go by what I am saying, what Bhagavad Gita is saying. All of you are on your journey, spiritual journey. Maybe 5 years back, 10 years back, you had no clue of what is that divinity. But now, due to your association with this knowledge, you are getting a glimpse. See, when we say you are able to identify divinity in you, it means you are a peaceful person. You get the point? Maybe 5 years back, 10 years back, you're not that peaceful, but now you are a peaceful person, relatively speaking. Maybe small things used to bother you, altercation with your partner, something happens at work, but now you're okay. Relatively, you're okay. So it is a proof that you are going in the right direction. That's what it means. You start recognizing the divinity in you. And complete elimination of desires is a state of self realization. So, For such a person, he says, but those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them. So you become one with divinity when you offload all your desires. And what is the proof that you are going in the right direction? So that's what he gives that test to us. The same am I in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. Now you apply this formula in your day-to-day life. If you claim, if somebody claims that yes, I'm moving towards divinity, right? We discussed just now that process. So what is the ultimate test? You develop that feeling of oneness towards everybody, towards all beings. So you understand the same divinity is functioning in everybody, in all beings, everywhere. Same electricity is functioning in all the gadgets. There are millions of gadgets. Even in a broken gadget, the same electricity is functioning. Even in a sophisticated gadget, the latest iPhone was launched, I think, few days back, isn't it? Usually they launch in September. Correct me if I am wrong. So it's a sophisticated gadget. So where is the latest iPhone? Where is broken gadget? But the same electricity is functioning. So similarly, when it comes to human being, there are range of human beings. There are people who are very refined, cultured. There are people who are very crude, gross, violent, or whatever. But you can see the same divinity functioning in these people. Yeah, you may not like certain qualities in a person, or you may not subscribe to their views or ideas or ideologies. That is okay. But that does not mean you hate anybody. I mean, the direct statement he is making, there is none hateful or dear to me. So you view everybody equally. The word which we use is sama. Sama means that feeling of oneness towards all. Don't hate anybody. You are friendly towards everybody. Friendly does not mean make friends with them. That's your attitude. The whole America is talking about what happened, few days back. That gentleman was lost his life for no reason. See, you may not like his idea or ideologies, and that is subjective. Who are we to comment? Who are we to judge anybody? But take innocent life, you get the point. So therefore, these values they should be taught to children in school. Forget about school, by parents. If as a parent you keep on discussing these differences at home, I mean, what else you expect your children? Oh, I hate that guy. I hate. No, it could be political views, it could be religious views, it could be whatever. So let people have their own views, their beliefs, their lifestyle. The conduct may be different, their behavior may be different. So, irrespective of these differences, you have that feeling of oneness. So, that's the ultimate test. See, otherwise, sounds very fancy, isn't it? Like offload your desires, you start moving towards reality, you know. Yes, why not? But what is the proof? There's only one proof. So, either you fail or you pass. So, you find out whether you pass or fail, or partially you may pass, or you may completely fail. If not at all times, once in a while you may fail. It's okay to fail once in a while. At least you wake up, you know. So those who have that feeling of oneness towards all, such people, they are able to recognize that divinity, or only when you recognize your divinity, you are able to develop that feeling of oneness with all. It's other way around. So important and very useful verse number 29. Let's move on to 30, please.
अपि चेत्सु दुराचारः भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग्व्यवसितो हि सः अपि चेत्सु दुराचारः भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग्व्यवसितो हि सः
Translation: even if a very wicked person, Saducharaha, worships me with unswerving devotion, he too shall be regarded as righteous indeed, for he has rightly resolved. So the word, underline the word Saduracharaha. It's very interesting. Acharaha means conduct or behavior. Duracharaha means wicked conduct or behavior. Saduracharaha, very wicked conduct or behavior, very wicked person. He has won gold medal in wickedness or unrighteousness. Perfect sample of unrighteous person. So he says, even if the most wicked person worships me, meaning if he comes to this knowledge, even such a person, he shall be regarded as righteous, for he has rightly resolved. So you can say somebody who is, in our language, unrighteous person or highly indulgent or a gross person, or maybe somebody has done something terrible in life, even such a person has hope. That is important. Nobody is useless. Nobody is denied the opportunity to evolve spiritually. Any human being, doesn't matter. You and I may condemn them, the whole society may condemn them. But what is Lord saying? He is saying, no, even if he decides to correct himself, if he decides to change the direction, there is hope for that person. In fact, next verse is going to tell us that he can reach the ultimate state of self-realization, forget about improvement. So that's the potential every human being has, all of us have, that nobody is denying that opportunity to us. Opportunity to what? To become a better human being, to evolve spiritually, to reach the state of spiritual enlightenment. The only person who can deny that opportunity is who?
Ourselves.
You yourself. By your thoughts, by your desires, by your actions. But the moment you decide, no, enough is enough, I want to change my life, he says you are going in the right direction. See, all of us know the example of King Henry IV, who became the fifth. I often given this example in the class. So, as a young prince, he was a notorious guy. He was a prince, the future king of England, but he used to rob the coaches. And he had a friend, his name was Falstaff. Even he was from a royal family. So the Prince of England and his royal friend, just for fun, they just for hobby, they used to waylay the coaches. This is supposed to be historical fact, and used to harass women also there. So from there, he became the one of the most famous king, good king of England. So, the day he understood, no, what I'm doing is not correct. So he put his friend Falstaff in his own place. He said, enough is enough. So from where to where, you get the point. Those who are familiar with Ramayana, I'm giving you different examples. So these examples you must be aware. There is a story of Ahilya. She was a lady, she was a woman, married to the famous sage Gautama. So she was cursed by her husband and she became a stone. You don't ask why. This curse and boon, it is a concept. It means law of karma. Nobody can curse you, nobody can give you a boon. You are punished by your own actions, not for your actions. But for people who cannot think, it works. Concept of curse and boon. At least, you're scared. He should not curse me. So therefore, I should be nice to him. So it works. So due to that curse, Ahilya, she was reduced to a stone. And there was a condition, there was a hope for her that whenever Lord Rama visited the place, the ashram of sage Gautama, if his feet touched her, she will be revived to her own glory. So when Lord Rama he visits sage Gautama's ashram and his feet they touch Ahilya, instantly she is transformed. Now it's a story. A lot of people take it literally. Most people, 99%, they will take it literally. So therefore, they believe in touch method. Somebody touches you, your life is transformed. Then why are we wasting our time? Just find such people. I will send you the email. Radha will send you the email. I don't send emails. Vijay and whoever send that come. We are meeting in upstate New York or I don't know, UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, inviting somebody, and that person touches you, all the worries are gone. Why attend lecture every week? Why study? Why get up? So this is how people take it literally. And there are people who are taking advantage of this. You get my point. So therefore, you have to be careful. So coming back to the story, the moment Lord Rama's feet touched her, she was again transformed to her original self. So Rama represents knowledge, the knowledge of Vedanta, knowledge of scripture. And stone means a very tamasic person, the lowest of low. But the moment that person he associates with this knowledge, the direction matters. So in spiritual field, your present status is not important. But what direction are you taking? Note down this point. In spiritual field, your present status is not important. You could be worst of worst, or you could be best of best. Either way, it is possible. But what direction are you taking? See, you may be born in a very good environment, very cultured, refined, God loving parents. So you got a head start compared to others. But you may go in a wrong direction and you may mess up your life. How many stories we have heard like this, isn't it? Or you may be born in an environment where it is not that conducive to you, but you put efforts and you go in a completely different direction. Do you have that PowerPoint, Makran? It becomes very easy. Excuse me. Yeah, there you go. See, the statement is, in spiritual field, your present status is not important, but the direction you take. That's what I am trying to explain. So let's say somebody is at 75% of spiritual evolution on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is like almost like an animal, 100 is a state of spiritual enlightenment, or you can say close to that. So you could be at 75, but you may go in a wrong direction in life and you may fall down to 50, 25, or you may even hit whatever, 5, 10. Another person may be at 25 of spiritual growth, but he is going in the right direction, he is putting efforts. So therefore, what direction are you taking, that is important. You may have best of opportunity, best of teacher, best of literature, everything is conducive. It is so set for, well laid out for your spiritual evolution, and some silly desire may overpower your personality, and you may squander the entire opportunity. You get the point? It could be suddenly you inherited a lot of wealth. I'm giving you examples. I mean, don't take it literally. And you may lose your focus in life. In fact, I know one case, one person in Bombay, in Mumbai, in India. He was a good guy, relatively speaking. I mean, no nonsense, nothing. Relatively simple, frugal, going in the right direction in life. But he inherited a huge fortune. They had a land in Bombay to own, even I don't know, place to stand in Bombay is difficult. It's like Manhattan, that is the comparison. So the some areas of Bombay are more expensive than Manhattan. So in that area, his family had I don't know, some 3 or 4 acres of land. It was under dispute, for many years, 30, 40 years. But fortunately or unfortunately, that you decide, they won the course, they won the case, and he inherited, like the family. There were 2 or 3 siblings, massive amount. So something like equivalent of, I don't know, 50 to 60 million US dollars per sibling they received. A middle class family, you must understand that this happened, I don't know, maybe 8 years back, 10 years back. And that guy went absolutely crazy. Now, today he has all the vices, whatever you can imagine, everything. So, a good guy, but wealth brought about his downfall. Nothing wrong in wealth. I mean, with that kind of wealth, I mean, so much good you can do. So, one person may be at 75, that's the example I'm trying to give you. Wealth may bring about his downfall, or it could be a whatever, your own partner, or you're in the wrong company, or your wrong friends, or whatever. That may bring about your downfall. But another person may be at 25, but he or she is going in the right direction. You get my point? See, like you may be born rich, possible, you may have a lot of wealth, but you may squander it all. I'm sure you will give me 5 stories, I'll give you 5 stories. I know one gentleman in America comes from a like very big family. Today he is reduced to literally nothing. Indulgent lifestyle. How long can it last? So you may have a large fortune, but the direction matters in life. Are you with me? Another person may be from a lower middle class or a middle class family, but he lives a simple, frugal life, no debts, or whatever debts he has, immediately pays it off. And over a period of time, he becomes quite well to do. How many of you can claim? Don't take it literally. I am working on being debt free. Ask yourself that feeling of debt free. My car is fully paid for, my house is fully paid for. I know there are a couple of people, somebody bought a nice car, I think 2 or 3 years back. Our policy is not on loan. If you can afford a Corolla, buy Corolla. What's wrong with that? It's a nice car. If you want to buy BMW 5 Series, buy it. Why not? If you can afford it, but not on loan. So somebody bought that nice car, and within 6 months, 8 months, the conscience pricked and they paid off the loan. House also fully paid for. So that is one way of functioning. You get my point. Second way of functioning is you keep on, creating debts after debts. So depends on what direction are you going. So coming back to the verse, in spiritual field, your present status is not important. I repeat, third or fourth time I am repeating. But what direction are you taking? But some people they say, it's too late for me. Already I am 60, 70, or maybe I was introduced late to this knowledge. Why look at the past? Whatever time you have left, yes, ideally speaking, when you are young in your teenage, you should be exposed to this knowledge. But due to whatever reasons you did not get exposed to this knowledge and you have drifted in life, why worry? The Lord Himself is saying, if you change the direction, he too shall be regarded as righteous indeed, for he has rightly resolved. Rightly resolved meaning you are willing to change the direction, or you have changed the direction from world to supreme reality. So, as long as you pursue this knowledge, you got a future. If you don't pursue this knowledge, definitely you are going in the wrong direction. Asur is sunless world, Asurya Namate Loka. We are doing in Upanishad, we heard that, right? All of you are doing Upanishad lectures on Sunday. You go to the sunless world. Why go in that direction? See, imagine a cave. I'm giving you different examples. This important verse. That cave is not explored for millions of years, and also the darkness is intense. But once you introduce the light, even a feeble light, you strike a match or you bring a candle, the length and depth of darkness of that cave doesn't matter, isn't it? With that light, whatever light you have, you will start exploring the cave, and slowly but surely you will find the origin of the cave, maybe the mouth of that cave. So similarly, length and depth of your ignorance is not important. How long you neglected your spiritual growth and depth of your ignorance, like a wicked person. Somebody says, "No, I belong to that category. I'm wicked, wicked. You don't know me. We don't have to know you." Lord is giving that promise. That the moment you change the direction, brother, sister, don't worry. So there is hope for every human being. You get the point? Why there is hope for every human being? Because you have a choice of action as a human being. No other creature they have this wonderful gift. Only as a human being you have that choice of action. See, for example, if a tiger becomes a man eater, you can't educate him. No, why have you become a man eater? He will die as a man eater. But human being, even if he becomes, I don't know, you have to stretch your imagination like a serial killer. You and I may condemn such a person, but even such a person has hope. That doesn't mean let loose serial killer in a society. Don't take it to the extreme. You know, he has to pay for whatever actions he has done. But if he starts working on himself or herself, definitely there is redemption for everybody. So that hope, every human being has a hope because of that choice of action. And that choice of action, nobody can take away from you. You get the point? They may take away everything from you, but that choice of action, that capacity to put efforts and go in the right direction, nobody can take away from you. So, therefore, Lord says, even if a very wicked person worships me, meaning he is working on becoming a better human being with unswerving devotion, with efforts and devotion, understood. He too shall be regarded as righteous because he has rightly resolved, because he has changed his direction. So, very powerful verse. And then the thought flow continues in verse number 31.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति
Chipram, soon. Soon he becomes righteous and attains eternal peace. O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, know for certain that my devotee never perishes. Very famous sentence from Bhagavad Gita. Na me bhakta pranashyati. My know for certain, my devotee never perishes. It's a direct promise from the Lord. Then there are a couple of places in Bhagavad Gita where he makes that promise. So this is one example. Na me bhakta pranashyati. All Indians, they know it. Know for certain that my devotee never perishes. So it is connected to verse number 30. That's the thought flow. So since that person is moving in the right direction, he has rightly resolved, he is moving in the right direction. Slowly but surely, he will become a better human being. And if his efforts are consistent, he will reach the ultimate state of spiritual enlightenment because he has changed his direction. And little bit of knowledge also is enough to begin with to transform your life. If you have not been exposed to this knowledge, if you feel no, I think I am mentally disturbed, I lack clarity or whatever, or maybe I have some patches where I really experience that grief or whatever it may be. Little bit of knowledge, 5%, 10%, if you get established in this knowledge, it is enough to live a healthy and peaceful life. We're not talking about infinite peace, infinite bliss. That is ultimate. If you cannot conceive that, little bit of knowledge is enough. And little bit of knowledge is enough to take care of most of our situations in life. Whatever challenges you are facing in life. So they are end of the day, if you really analyze, most of the challenges which we face, situations we face, they are really petty. You know, rarely, we. How many of us have faced a real tragedy in life? Don't give the answer. I lost everything. I lost my wife. I lost my money. I lost this. I mean, Yes, there could be such people. So that is like for that you need like good amount of establishment in this knowledge. But our problems are petty. It is hot, it is cold. Am I putting on weight? Somebody scratched my car. See the way my partner is talking to me. Children, they are not listening to me. Boss is hysterical. These are the problems we face in day-to-day life. For that, little bit of knowledge is enough. Somebody is living in slum area. Imagine, what kind of a life is that? No proper hygiene, no this, no that. The moment that person comes out of that slum, even if he gets his own one bedroom apartment, is great for that person. What is the life in a slum versus clean place? Somerset apartments. I've been there a few times. I mean, it's not bad. So keep putting efforts. Yes, to reach the ultimate, you need tremendous efforts. But from practical point of view, we are discussing. So get this knowledge, put efforts, get established in this knowledge as per your capacity. 10%, 20%, 30%. Don't worry about when will I reach the ultimate. It's the headlights of a car or car without headlights. A good many people are car without headlights. How will you drive? Where will you drive? So as long as you have a car with the headlights, I mean, how long can you see with the headlights? Maybe 20 meters, 30 meters, 50 meters, but the same car can take you all the way to Florida if you really want to go from Detroit. So keep on putting efforts. How much of backlog you're carrying, nobody knows. But definitely that backlog will be cleared with your efforts. Do you get the point? And you have created that backlog. Nobody has created that backlog for you. If you owe money to bank $100,000 for argument's sake, so nobody put that amount for you. Okay, you owe $100,000 to bank today. It is because of you. It is a cumulative effect of your past habits. Whatever debit credit you made, all that put together, you owe $100,000 to bank. But if you decide, if you resolve, no, I want to clear off that debt, I want to pay off that debt. You start earning, you change your lifestyle. See, it's a matter of time. So similarly, we all have a particular status, spiritual status. It is created by us. It is an effect of all our past actions at all levels of our personality. It's a cumulative effect. But the future is in your hands. Why worry about the past? That is guaranteed. Past is past. You can't, what can you do? Even if you regret, yes, you learn from the past, certain things I made. I don't want to repeat that. But future is in your hands. So your future is nothing but continuation of past modified in the present. See, that is guaranteed to everybody. But if you don't put efforts, you will continue to be the same person as you were in the past. But if you put efforts right now, your future could be brand new. So that's what he means. Kshipram, soon. So soon he becomes righteous by your own efforts. But while putting efforts, understand that life is based on cause and effect. Therefore, I am giving these examples. Your bank balance is based on cause and effect. Similarly, your spiritual status is based on cause and effect. Cause was sowed by you. Nobody created that cause for you. You did not put efforts. So therefore, you are, let's say, on the scale of 0 to 100, you are at 20, 30. But you don't have to worry about that. The moment you start putting efforts, the entire backlog of desires will be cleared. It's a matter of time. But the main point, bottom line, is ignorance. It is ignorance of this knowledge. It is ignorance of your original state. It's ignorance of higher values of life. All these are synonyms. It keeps on producing endless desires. And these desires, they develop into various modifications like greed, lust, delusion, arrogance, envy, anger. So they keep on networking these desires. And due to these desires and various modifications created by ignorance, you remain pinned down to the terrestrial world, entangled and caught up, live a life of grief and sorrow and whatnot. So the knowledge of the scriptures, the knowledge of Vedanta provides the light of wisdom. That is the main point. And only that light of wisdom can push you out of ignorance, out of this darkness. And that light is glowing eternally in you. An important point. By light, I means that wisdom. Nobody can give that wisdom to you. It is there in you, but it is blocked. So the knowledge of Vedanta, knowledge of scripture, that's the light of wisdom. You can invoke that light through your daily study, reflection, and contemplation on this knowledge. And once you get this knowledge, or to the extent you get this knowledge, it removes the ignorance, it dispels the darkness. This is how you go in the right direction. And whoever does that, such a person, he will never perish. No me bhakta pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. So, any person who decides to pursue this knowledge, he is on the right path. How can such a person perish in life? Versus those who are attached to the world, those who chase the world, those who are caught up in acquisition and enjoyment. Ignorant people, sooner or later they will perish. It's a law of life. It's not that, some people are special, some people are not special. There is no such thing. It is a law of life. So any person who decides to pursue this knowledge, any person who is on the right path, how can such a person perish in life? Isn't it? But if you don't follow this path, if you don't have higher values, if you don't put efforts to get this knowledge, you will perish. You're bound to perish. It's a matter of time. Perish does not mean die. That also is possible. Can't handle, becomes too much. But perish could be worry, anxiety, stress. Sometimes you just give in. The challenge becomes so much. Could be any challenge. Could be at work. Could be anywhere. You say enough is enough. So what we'll do? I think next there's one more PowerPoint. So we can show it next time. But you can just project it. I mean, you can take a screenshot, or you can, if you're writing. So what does it mean? Know for certain that my devotee never perishes. So I compiled some points. So it's useful. So that choice is there. Either you pursue secular path, worldly path, or you follow spiritual path. So the statement "Na me bhakta pranashyati" is applicable for people who are on the right side, those who follow spiritual path. So I'll explain to you this next week. And next week will be the last class for chapter 9. I think only 3 verses are left after this, isn't it?
Yes, Amit.
Yeah. So, any quick questions before we conclude?
I have one, Amici.
Please.
So I agree with you about reducing desires of the world and all the things going on in the world. I feel peace because I feel a little bit oblivious to it, like it doesn't concern me so much. The part where I think that I have some difficulty is I'm a father of grown children, and when they bring problems to me, I think it brings mental agitation to me more than the things that I see going on in the world, even. I think that maybe I have an attachment to trying to solve problems for them when they may need to solve their own problems. Is that
There is
correct?
nothing. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, being a parent, naturally, any parent would go through this, right? But what you need to understand is they have to go through their own journey in life. So, see, we all went through that phase when you were like 13, 14, 15, if I ask, if I talk to your father, same thing he will say about you perhaps. If you talk to my father, same thing he will talk about me. So it is a phase in life. So they will face these problems, whatever is happening in the society. But as long as you have this knowledge, see, you will be able to guide them if they want your guidance. If ignorant parent, what guidance they can give? So you're on the right path, you're learning these values, and you can explain to them in your own way as per their level of understanding, you know. So, I mean, therefore, I give example of that gentleman who was shot dead few days back. And it's a tragic thing. I mean, whole America is talking. We don't want such things repeated. Naturally, youngsters will have their question, you know. So that's the I'm just giving you one simple example. So you can tell them, fine, let people have their own ideas and ideologies, I mean, why, fine, live and let live. You don't have to agree with them, but that doesn't mean you have to hate them, you know. So like this, you could educate them in their own way. So as you get established in this knowledge, you will be able to guide them. And the second is you have to expose young generation to this knowledge. There is no other way. Otherwise, what will happen? What is the future of this country if we don't have this knowledge? Any country, you know. This is these are universal truths. So that's the you could aim for that, but to discuss about your current situation, you don't have to worry too much about it. Yes, attachment is there about kids. What will happen, which is all right. You know,
Thank
so
you.
that's what I can think of.
Thank you.
So should we conclude for today? All right. See you next week.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Amitji.
Amiji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.